What is going on, Raptors Nation? Luca here, back with another video. And boy, oh boy, was Raptors Media Day 2023 very interesting to say the least. I mean, it seems like a lot of NBA teams enjoyed Media Day. Their fans enjoyed Media Day. But when it came to the Toronto Raptors, a lot of emotions came up from this day. A lot of uncertainty, a lot more question marks. And in this one, I'm going to dive into it and give you my main takeaways from Media Day. Unfortunately, I was not there live to cover Media Day, but I did watch the presser online, as I'm sure all of you did. And I did do a lot of posting on X. You could go and follow me on X at LucaRosando3. Hit a like, subscribe to the channel, help this channel grow. We're almost at 500 subs on here, guys, which is great. All Raptors content, we got you covered all season long. And for those of you that like articles, we got a website, raptorsnation.com. You can check out my pieces on the website, and I'll put the link to the website down below. So we're going to have you covered with all things Raptors throughout the entirety of this upcoming season. And by the way, the Raptors preseason begins this week on Sunday. So Raptors basketball is coming soon. All right, let's get down to business here. And we are going to start Masai Ujiri and Pascal Siakam. So this was very interesting. So we're first going to start with the Masai Ujiri presser. And Masai Ujiri, of course, all eyes on him. Everybody was tuned in to hear what Masai Ujiri was going to say and how he was going to conduct himself. And the thing that caught my attention was the situation with Pascal Siakam, because that's the thing we care about, right? Fred VanVleet, he's no longer here. The Damian Lillard stuff is in the past. The one thing that has to be decided on still is what is going to happen with Pascal Siakam. So Masai Ujiri says that he hasn't talked about a contract extension with Pascal Siakam yet. So that was the biggest thing. As you look at Siakam, he's eligible to sign with the Raptors right now on a maximum contract extension of 4 years at least $192 million. However, if Siakam holds out, he makes the All-NBA team this coming season, he would be eligible for a 5-year, $307.23 million supermax contract in free agency next summer. And then when he was asked about a potential contract extension with Siakam, again, Masai confirmed that the Raptors haven't talked about a contract extension with Siakam yet. And Masai Ujiri did say this, and this is something that got a lot of attention from people. So Masai said, and I quote, "We do believe in Pascal." And then he followed that up by saying, "We do believe that a lot of our players didn't play the right way last year." I said it. They were selfish. I'm not running away from that. We were selfish, and we didn't play the right way. So let us see it when we play the right way. So as soon as Ujiri said this, everybody was speculating if this was indeed a shot at Pascal Siakam. Because for Masai Ujiri to mention Siakam after he was asked about a potential contract extension, and then he follows it up by saying this and talking about the team's selfishness, I mean, this definitely was something that got a lot of attention. Now, you can make the case that Masai didn't mean to associate Siakam in that remark that he made thereafter, but for him to essentially say what he said after addressing the Siakam contract situation, I mean, that could be an inadvertent shot. So that is definitely something that did not get the media day off on the right note, to say the least. And then Ujiri was asked about some other possible contract extensions for Gary Trent Jr. and OG Anunoby, as they too can become unrestricted free agents in the summer of 2024. And Masai said, and I quote, "The time for those talks is now. We'll see how these conversations go," close quote. And then Ujiri added, "We've always taken care of our players here, and we're going to see how that plays out. We've got time to discuss with them or take whatever direction we're going to take." So Ujiri didn't necessarily say who he's committed to, who he's going to offer a contract to, left it open-ended, and that's been the case, it seems, over the last couple of months. And then this is going to tie into what Pascal Siakam said when it was his time up at the podium. And Pascal Siakam, he denied that he was a selfish player. This is what Siakam said, and I quote, "I've never been a selfish player in my life. Ever since I started playing basketball, I don't have an ounce of selfishness in me." And then Siakam went on to weigh in about his future in Toronto, and he said, "I'm under contract. I'm a Raptors player. That's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on the present." He was then asked if he was open to signing an extension with the Raptors, and he said, I just want to be a part of something awesome. I want to win games and have fun. That's all I care about right now. And then he went on to say, I'll leave those type of questions to the people who represent me. That's why I pay them. So another interesting instance here. I mean, Siakam didn't necessarily endorse him staying with the Raptors. And like Toronto, it seems that Pascal Siakam is going to keep his options open, because it's not like Siakam came out and said, I would love to be in Toronto. I want to be here. I want to stay here. He basically said what he said. So it's going to be a very interesting season for the Toronto Raptors between both sides. It looks like Masai Ujiri and company still don't know what they want to do. Pascal Siakam is keeping his options open. Of course, you look at Siakam, he's coming off one of his better seasons. The Raptors still haven't committed to a direction. They're still stuck in the middle. So Siakam's name is something to monitor as we get closer to the deadline. But the last thing the Raptors want is to lose Siakam for nothing, because here's my stance on this. If the Raptors don't have Pascal Siakam in their future plans, that's okay. But if the Raptors don't have Pascal Siakam in their future plans and they still fumble the situation and lose him for nothing, that is where this front office will severely be under hot water, because you already lost one All-Star in Fred VanVleet for nothing. The last thing you want is for another All-Star and your team's best player in Pascal Siakam to be lost for nothing. Siakam's going to become an unrestricted free agent. So if the Raptors aren't willing to pay up for Siakam, especially if he makes the All-NBA, they definitely better have a plan B, and at the very least entertain trade ideas at the trade deadline, because you don't want to give Siakam the opportunity to go elsewhere, just like Fred did. On a more positive note, OG Anunoby then came to the podium. And OG Anunoby, there's been a lot of rumors about his ongoing contract situation. Mark Stein just put out a piece, and he put out a report that said that OG Anunoby will rebuff any extension attempts from the Raptors to play out the season and proceed to free agency next summer, as of course, the Raptors can only offer OG a 4-year, $117 million deal, which OG Anunoby is definitely going to get more if he opts out next summer and becomes an unrestricted free agent. And to be honest, that won't surprise me if that is OG's plan, because it is in OG's best interest to hold out on a contract for now so he can opt out next summer and earn a bigger payday. But it definitely was refreshing to hear OG say this, and I quote, I love Toronto, so I want to be here, when OG was asked about a potential contract extension. And I mean, if OG Anunoby does hold out and he does want a bigger payday, the Raptors have a decision to make, because OG clearly wants to be here. He said it verbatim. The Raptors have been reluctant to trade OG. Remember, they didn't want to reportedly dangle OG Anunoby in the Damian Lillard sweepstakes, and OG has survived, it seems, the most trade rumors out of anybody. I mean, him and Tyler Hero definitely at the top of that list. So you would think the Raptors are going to do what it takes to keep him, because like Siakam, the worst case doomsday scenario is to lose a player like OG Anunoby, who's coming off his best season as a Raptor, for nothing. So this is why the Raptors front office needs to have a plan, because this thing can get ugly very, very soon. You got OG, you got Siakam about to become unrestricted free agents. Doesn't look like a contract will be agreed upon this season. I mean, the OG thing can change. Obviously, Mark Stein's report is subject to change. It's just a rumor report. Nothing is guaranteed as of now. But again, it would not surprise me if OG holds out. And then the Raptors got to decide, okay, if we haven't traded OG, he wants to be here, are we going to pay him what he wants? So that is just another thing the Raptors front office has to deal with. And then I guess it makes sense to tie in the Gary Trent Jr. thing into this, because he too is set to become an unrestricted free agent, and he too can leave for nothing on an extension. Trent Jr. just said, you can just control what you can control. And I mean, some other things that I took away from what he said at the podium, not so much about what he said about the contract extension, because that's literally what he said about that. He kept it short and sweet. He did say that the communication with Rajakovic has been great, which is refreshing to hear. He says he's had more convos with Rajakovic than any other coach he's played for. And then Trent Jr. did say that he wants to contribute to anything towards winning. He wants to be an energy giver, not taker. He says it should be a positive work environment. It should be fun. So again, the Raptors have very important decisions to make, with Siakam being number one, OG being number two, and then Gary Trent Jr. being number three. But based on what we got from Media Day, yeah, it doesn't look like extensions are close. It doesn't look like the Raptors are willing to prioritize their best player in Siakam. And it looks like the Raptors are going to, in fact, go with the wait and see approach. So, like I said, and I'll continue to say this until I'm blue in the face, the Raptors better have a plan, because there definitely is a worst case scenario for all of these situations. So I know I've just been going on and on about the negative, and it does seem like it's a pretty negative situation with the Toronto Raptors now. But let's now talk about some positives. And I first want to talk about what Darko said, and he did mention some tidbits that will tie into Scotty Barnes, who I'll get to in just a bit here. But Darko did speak on Barnes. He said the style of play we're going to implement as players 1 through 4 will be interchangeable. Multiple players will be able to bring the ball up the floor. Scotty will play on the ball more. He's such a unique player. We can use him in many ways. And then Riakovic said that I've never liked heavy ISO basketball. My biggest thing is going to have guys buy in, doing less is more. And then Riakovic, as we know, player development coach, said player development is the most important thing. Riakovic went on to say about the Raptors bench that he likes using more players from off the bench. He likes using 5 players from off the bench. And he says that the Raptors got to be smart about how much load they're putting on the players for the long run. And overall, yeah, Riakovic seems like he is going to bring a breath of fresh air to the Raptors on both sides of the ball. And again, it's going to take some adjusting from the players, but it seems like the players are excited that Darko is there. So that is a very positive takeaway. And then we'll save the best for last. Scotty Barnes. I mean, my biggest positive takeaway of Raptors Media Day was that Scotty Barnes might be ready to go off, and he might just be ready for that third-year leap, because it started with Masai Ujiri saying that Scotty Barnes has worked incredibly hard this summer, and he has shown the commitment that he wants to get better. He's gotten stronger. His conditioning's gotten better. He wants to be great. So that is something that Masai said that was definitely good to hear. And then just going through some of the things that Scotty Barnes said, he confirmed that he's been working on his game, getting to his mid-range, getting to the basket. He's confident in his game. Says his mindset is to go out there and dominate and try to win games, which is what the Raptors need. In this season of uncertainty, can Scotty Barnes be that guy who can show up and cement himself as the Raptors' future? And the Raptors need a guy who's going to go out there and dominate and assert himself. And then Barnes went on to say that he did do a lot more running this summer for his conditioning. He says that he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more, so that's going to require a lot more work. So he wants to be prepared for that and take it to the next level. And then Barnes says that he's trying to step more into a leadership role, obviously with Fred no longer there, and he feels he can lead. And then Barnes said that he put on 9 pounds of muscle. So you look at Scotty Barnes all of a sudden. I mean, Scotty Barnes is now reportedly 6'11". He gained 9 pounds. So what is that, 240? So Scotty Barnes, it seems like he's got the right mindset going into the season. It seems like he's put in the work. And it seems like he just wants to go out there and prove himself. So this was something great to hear from Barnes. You saw him. He looked healthy. He looked ready to go. And the Raptors are going to need Scotty Barnes to be at his best. The Raptors did not want to trade Barnes for KD, did not want to trade Barnes for Lillard. This is the year that Scotty Barnes has to establish himself as the future, present, and just face of the Raptors franchise, in my opinion. So I am really looking forward to Scotty Barnes. And yeah, I mean, when you look at Raptors Media Day in a nutshell, there are a lot of things that are overshadowing. But the positives, OG came out and said flat out he wants to be here. Scotty Barnes appears ready that he's going to take a leap. Darko, he's got, it seems, the respect of the players, and he's going to bring a fresh new attitude and approach to this team. And unfortunately, just the underlying issues that need to be resolved are the contracts. You know, what's going to happen with Siakam? What's going to happen with OG Anunoby? I know he does want to be here, but how is that going to end off? And then Gary Trent Jr. as well. So this is going to be a very interesting season, and I cannot wait for it to get started. And I think it's going to be one of those things you got to wait and see. It's either going to go very well, better than expected, or it can take a turn for the worse. So you never know with these Raptors. They definitely leave you on the edge of your seat, it seems, at every moment. So we will see how this season fares. But Raptors Media Day is in the books. What are your takeaways, highlights from Raptors Media Day? What did you make of all of this? Let me know your thoughts down below. Hit a like, guys. Subscribe to the channel for more. That is it for me. This is Lucas signing off. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, stay safe.